What is that hump in your back? How do you get rid of it, avoid it, and not end up hunched over like your parents or maybe your grandparents? Well, that's what we're going to dive into today on Back Talk. So, this is Back Talk. Welcome. I'm Dr. Ryan Wolfert, and on each episode, I address the most common questions and misconceptions about back pain and spinal health. Show you how you can strengthen your spine so you can be your own guarantee for your health and for your life. And so today I want to dive into, and we're going to talk about this dreaded hunchback posture. So, what is it? Well, the technical term is called thoracic hyperkyphosis. And it's when the upper back here, it becomes overly curved, excessively curved past what the normal range is, creating a hunchback type appearance. And I know we all want to avoid that. We it doesn't look great, but it's more than just a cosmetic concern. It can affect your quality and quantity of life. When the spine curves too much, it causes way too much stress on the bones, on the ligaments, on the discs, causing it to break down, and that can lead to pain, stiffness, and other more serious health problems, which we'll talk about in a second. So how do you get this? How does this develop in your spine? Well, the most common area that we see this as far as ages is as you get older. Like 20% of older adults, especially women, have this forward posture, have this hunchback, this hump type posture. It's called the dowager's hump, right in the upper part of your upper back. So, but it's not just for women. It's not just in the elderly or older people. People are developing this earlier and earlier in age. Think about the things that you're doing and that people are doing nowadays. They're prolongingly in these increasingly hunched over postures on their phone, on the computer, sitting down too much, maybe reading on their iPads or their laptop, even sleeping propped up on pillows. In general, our world is designed for us to, honestly, I don't want to say collapse, but that's the position that it puts us in. And just even without all those physical stressors, gravity by itself is causing us to collapse. And if you're already going in that position from being in these poor postures, these forward flexed postures for too long, then gravity is just going to have that much more hold on you, pulling you down more and more. So those are the major reasons for that. And then also there can be medical conditions that you have that predispose you to this hunchback posture, which a big one being osteoporosis, a weakening of the bones. Now, I talked about how this excessive curve, just intuitively, you can see how it can put too much stress on the muscles, the ligaments, the bones, the discs, causing them to break down, causing more pain and stiffness. But even beyond the pain and stiffness part of it, it will decrease and can decrease your physical function and capabilities. You know, part of being your own guarantee is being independent, being mobile, being active, being healthy. And this hunchback posture makes these activities more difficult. If you have this, you more than likely already know that, you know, your mobility is less. It's harder to walk. It's harder to, even this next one, it can restrict your breathing. And this leads into how both on your cardiovascular system, your heart, and also your pulmonary system, the lungs, it can put too much stress on those, restricting the breathing, restricting the heart function. And this has been shown in multiple studies how to decrease your lifespan. So this forward flexed hyperkyphosis posture is directly related to and correlated to a decrease in your lifespan because of the effect it has on your cardiovascular system, your heart, and your lung function. And then even physically we talk about, right? And then even the organ systems in our body. Well, mentally, psychologically, this has an effect on you. When you have this forward flexed bent posture, this hunchback, it actually decreases your self-esteem, decreases your confidence level. And sometimes it happens without even knowing it, or that could be a reason for it. So physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, even chemically, it affects how our body functions. And research has shown, and there's this study in the Journal of Clinical Medicine, and I've mentioned this on a previous video, of how it showed that when people have a increased kyphosis in the upper back, that thoracic kyphosis, hyperkyphosis, it increases the chance of neck pain, increases the chance of disability. It makes your muscle coordination more dysfunctional, and also affects and weakens your nervous system response. So basically how you respond to the world around you. So that's, again, it's not just about pain, it's about how your body is actually functioning because of what it's doing to your nervous system. So now the big question is, okay, you might have it or you want to avoid it. How do we correct it or prevent it? Now, you want to notice it as early as possible, just like with anything. So if you notice that your mobility is decreasing, if you notice that your height is decreasing, that's another big sign. If you notice your head is forward, your shoulders are collapsing. If you notice, you look side to side and you don't have the range of motion, you got to turn your whole body because you can't even turn your head and neck by itself. Those are all early signs that you're developing this hunchback, that hump. And obviously, visibly, is there a hump back there? And you don't, I see on YouTube, I see these videos, and there's general recommendations for it. Now, I'm always a big fan of finding out for you what it actually is, or how to correct and prevent it even from the start. And so that's why I'm always a big fan of standing spinal x-rays, to actually look under the hood to see what your spine looks like. But in general, I'll give you some general exercises, and I'll actually link to a video as well called the thoracic mobility exercise to counteract the hunchback. But specific postural exercises can help, can strengthen the muscles between the shoulder blades, can stretch the chest here to help bring the shoulders back. But we always want to be conscious of, okay, what is that doing to the spine? That's why standing spinal x-rays are so important, or so invaluable. And I'll quickly just show you this one here. But again, I'll provide the link in the description so you can go to the thoracic mobility exercise video. But essentially, you're just going to clasp your hands, head, so that your hands go behind your head and neck like this. You're going to take your elbows back, squeezing the shoulder blades together, keep your head back into your hands, and lift the chest up and forward. Okay, so it's just this type of extension type maneuver. I go over more in the video. If you have osteoporosis, osteopenia, fractures, you want to do this very gently, as well as all these postural exercises. You always want to modify it to suit your levels. It's always got to be a pain-free exercise. But mobility is great because it encompasses both flexibility and the strength, your control through it. So there's a little bit of difference between just straight flexibility versus we want the mobility. We want you to be able to move through the range of motion, not just hold a certain position. Now, another important aspect, especially in this hunchback posture and spinal position, if the spine is stuck, that's what I call it. If it gets stuck in that position, yes, we can work the muscles. But what also happens is the ligaments that hold the bones together of the spine, they get deformed. They get sclerotic and fibrotic and broken down and all, tight, instead of nice and mobile, elastic, and strong, both elasticity and strength. Now they get all muddled up like this. And then it's hard to, just using exercises or using stretches or strengthening and postural exercises to strengthen the muscle, we have to address the ligaments. So what's important with that is called traction. And this is part of my method, the Eaton method, EATN, which is exercise, adjusting your lifestyle, traction, and nutrition. So this is the T part of it, the traction. And a specialized device is this right here. It's called a thoracic Denerol, and this goes in the mid back. You see that's been used because I've been using it. So this can only be used under the supervision of a qualified professional, specifically, and the best out there are chiropractic biophysics trained physicians, CBP for short. Try to find, I'll provide a link in the description for you to go to the directory, but I myself am trained in this, so you can always reach out to me as well. But this helps to counteract the ligaments getting tight in the upper back, in the mid back, that is keeping you stuck in that position no matter how much exercise or no matter how much postural awareness that you have. Another more at-home solution could be a folded up towel. Again, you can control the thickness of this, and this would go in your mid back and you would lay on that. So these are lying type procedures that you would use because we want to relax the muscles as much as possible so we can get down to the ligamentous level. And for example, with the towel, the towel traction, the folded towel traction, you would start gradually at a few minutes, and then you would work up to 20 to maybe even 30 minutes. But again, I would rather have you find out if you actually need something like that, and where to place it would be much more beneficial. So definitely check that link below. Try to find somebody in your area that's qualified to show you how to do this, and make sure you're doing it correctly. Don't ignore these early signs of the hunchback. A lot of times the first sign that you notice is the actual bump, right? And it's not too late, but notice these other signs, the loss of mobility. And even another sign is, are you on your phone? Are you hunched over a lot? Are you slumped down on a chair? Are you slumped down, on a couch too much? Are you sitting too much? Make sure you're getting up and moving around every 20 to 30 minutes if you are in these forward flexed postures. I have a spinal hygiene mini class that you're welcome to download. If you want it, just type in spine in the comments and I'll make sure that I get that to you. It might also be in the comments, or not the comments, but the description below. Remember, specific exercises, lifestyle adjustments, traction, these help to identify, help to prevent, reverse these early signs of hyperkyphosis, because it's all about being your own guarantee for your spinal health, for your life. And you want to make sure you're doing that to its fullest. And again, you want to be your own guarantee for your spine, your health, and your life. So if you want the spinal hygiene minute class, just type in spine and I'll make sure that you get that.